our beloved viewers, and welcome to this English news edition. Here are the top stories. An official launch of International Resources Network for the Great Green Wall. Energy make the North Sea the largest offshore electricity product areas. Those were the top stories. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. For the third day in row, Djibouti International Airport continues to receive military aircraft. The large number of friendly countries wishing to transfer their national from Sudan against the backdrop of an outbreak military confrontation for more than 10 days. The aforementioned plane landed at Djibouti International Airport on their way to Sudan in framework for evacuating diplomat and national friendly countries from conflict areas in Sudan in light of continuing clashes between the two parties in the conflict over the past 3 days. Military planes from Norway have landed at the airport, Sweden, but also United States, France, Italy, Japan, Canada. Therefore, before leaving for Sudan to evacuate its crisis and citizens and evacuate all the Djibouti International Airport has intensified its efforts and mobilized its human and material resources, in particular control tower staff to manage those planes that land unexpectedly. It should be noted that the flow of these aircraft to Djibouti reflect what Djibouti enjoys, security and peace, despite its location in the region suffering from conflict and international, therefore in Djibouti. During his intervention, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mohammed Ali Yusuf, said that the upcoming days will be a transit country for foreign nationals who are transferred from Sudan, according to the Department of Aviation. A new flight from Djiboutian Airlines landed at Djibouti International Airport yesterday evening, coming from Addis Ababa with the 38 Djiboutian nationals on board in Sudan. This second batch of Djiboutian nationals was initially evacuated by road from Sudan to Ethiopia before they were flown to national territory against the background of the outbreak of confrontation between army and rapid support for the more than a week. They were saved by citizens returning to the country. The vast majority of whom were male and female students who were studying in Sudanese University. Both of ministers of foreign affairs and international cooperation said. The spokesman Muhammad Ali Yusuf said in also, the evacuees extended their sincere thanks and appreciation to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Mergili, for the continuous effort they exert to make Operation succeed for this occasion. That according to the interim tools from the health organization collaboration. In his speech, the Minister of Defense said in his intervention, and he added that the first batch of Djibouti International from Sudan said the Minister of Defense, in his speech, said that the second batch of Djiboutian national was initially said within include from Sudan.
Thanks to the Djiboutian government for their remarkable support and effort to deal with this humanitarian aid. On behalf of the Greek people, of the Greek parliament, of the Greek government, we want to express our thanks to the government, especially to the Minister of the Foreign Affairs. Thank you, Djibouti.
After 10 days of bloody battles, the armies between the two parties to the conflict in Sudan enter into forces executions to midnight on Monday, Tuesday, to last for 72 hours. It came with the evacuation of a foreign country, while the United Nations announced the return of a number of its employees in Sudan, headed by Special Envoy of the Secretary General, Mr. Volkos Betur, on Monday. U.S. Secretary of State, Mr. Antony Blinken, announced that an agreement of the two parties to the conflicts from Sudan on a 3 days ceasefire starting on Tuesday. During this period, the United States is urging the Sudanese army forces and Sudanese army. He also added a rapid support call for immediate and full compliance with the ceasefire. The continuous battles between the armies and rapid support forces in Sudan promote many countries to intensify its efforts and evacuate its national or member of a diplomatic mission by land, seas, and air. While the main airport in Khartoum is the scene of violent fighting with the support forces taken into control. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed patronized this Thursday morning at Hotel Campasky, a launching event of International Resources Network of the Great Green Wall of Africa. The initiative was launched by members of the government, including the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, but also the Minister of Higher Education and Researches, and the high ranking civil figures attend to this event. The Green Walls it is the African program does not represent the diversification in the Sahel country, not only a decisive factor in the battle against climate change, but also business cases, investors, according to a new study led by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the Nation United. The Great Green Walls for Africa is a project led by the African Union and the beginning as a mean to combat diversification in the Sahel country and to stop the expansion of deserts on a path of planting as well as trees. And across the entire continent, the project is a response to the combined impact in natural resources, degradation, and of the rural region. The CEO of a French Institute for Development Researches refer to the Great Green Walls. It aims to ensure food security in the region. It seeks to help associate and society mitigate and adapt to climate change as well as improving food security. The Minister of Environment indicate that this large-scale regional project aim to stop the ecosystem in Sahel country in the context of climate change while accelerating this process, said the minister. In turn, the Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil, praised the tireless efforts made by Djibouti in the way of consolidation of peace and stability in the region of Sahel. For his part, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed expressed his pleasure at sponsoring these such events and this initiative to stabilize the international network resources for the Great Green Wall. The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mohammed Spencer, the opening ceremony the strategy dialogue on educational resources book in the at the People's Palace. The workshop was an opportunity to define educational resources as well as materials or support design for educational proposals such as courses, educational papers, or training content, the manuals, but also other material related to teaching. The workshop will enable the ministry to enhance a strategy for developing digital content and production of variety of media to expand access to knowledge and innovate the education process and learning. It should be also noted that the Republic of Djibouti is one of the 5 countries in Southern Africa Agency French Development and implemented by UNESCO and French Institute. UNESCO representative in Dakar, Dr. Yusuf, delivered in a speech in which he began by extending his thanks and gratitude to the Minister of National Education and launched this project. He said that this project aims to enhance the students' access to basic and secondary education in Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa to a collection of high-quality educational resources, said. For his part, the Minister of Education and Vocational Training expressed his satisfaction with the launching of a dialogue workshop strategy and educational resources for this event. The Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gidi, received in his office at the complex ministerial delegation of Austrian businessmen. The Austrian delegation introduced to the minister the ambassador of Djibouti to Germany, Mr. Yassin Hussein, and the talks between the two parties were focused on identifying opportunities of energy cooperation between Djibouti and his counterpart. During the meeting, Mr. Yunus Ali Kidi explained to the Austrian delegation that the energy sector is a basic priority for the national policy drawn up by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margili, a generation that explaining for this part that Djibouti seeks to be an energy center. The minister also briefed the delegation on the investment opportunities available in the country. It was on Tuesday morning continued the Book Fair Day as part of the World Book Day organized in Djibouti, a launch a day of early under the patronage of His Excellency the President of the Republic after a storytelling workshop for several dozens young people as well as the part of this project after the storytelling workshop for dozens young people were able to attend the second conference and dedicate to the book and its founding values. Participating in this second conference on the program, beside the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowi, and the Somali Minister of Culture, Mr. Daoud, and the eminent writers and professors, but also resident in USA, the writers diploma uh, and profile writers were attend in this ceremony, especially the illustrious mediators attend this meeting and several other guests, but also dozens of young university students. The others have a turn explained the importance of the book and message it's carried in terms of knowledge, awareness, and the issues of a society escape transmission and perpetuations of the socio-cultural and linguistic heritage in towards of peaceful coexistence and approachment of the tension. After Djibouti City, the operation of distributing of clothing loads for the Eid are continuing in the five region and more precisely in Tajura region to give a little cheer of during the Muslims holidays to the people in disabled and more it is in the context of the team of IMPH started in the region of Tejura, a vast operation of distributions of clothes to support people and children with special need. The ceremony was attended by the authorities of the region, uh, the president of the regional council of Tejura, the social works, and also the IMPH branch in Tejura, as well as the IMPH representative. It should be noted that the team of IMPH have provide and previously selected persons in a situation of a disability and had also provide the data disability and all the measures allowed each beneficiary to receive their clothes at the size and at the end the ceremony of the association of disabled people of children and special need have attained and express their gratitude and recognition for the IMPH team. And now moving on to the international scenes, nine European countries met at a summit on Monday in Belgium to underscore their common ambition to increase the capacity of its wind and then therefore the North Sea industry challenge to accelerate the continent. Its initiative aims to develop and wind firms connected to the infrastructure and the chain industrial green hydrogen's project. The leaders also made it clear that the route was completely mapped. It is now a matter of speeding up the pace from particularly the European leaders wants to speed up the authorization procedures and so coordinating invitation for tenders in a form better strengthens the production chain and diversity to supply the vital ingredients to reduce their dependence in China. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.